So as somebody who'd been trying to improve his game for a long time, one of the things that was recommended to me by a few golf pros was to record my swing and look at it, as well as to take that recording and send it on to professionals who could tear it apart and tell me all the things that I'm doing wrong. So I thought this would be a good video to put together to kind of show you. I looked at 6 different tools to try to find good ways to record my swing, as well as some of the analytical tools that came with them, how good it was at breaking down the swing into the actual swing versus just a long recorded video, as well as how useful it was, and how portable it was, and how functional it was. So hopefully this will be useful for you if you're trying to make a similar decision. So I'm going to be talking about 6 different tools that I looked at, 3 cameras and 3 apps. The first is the LiveView, actually the LiveView Plus camera. Second is the Swingshot Camera. Third is just using a GoPro on a tripod. I actually have a GoPro 7 that I'll be looking at. And then I looked at 3 different apps, an app called Swing Profile, an app called V1 Golf, and an app called Hudl. And I know there's others, but those are the 3 that I tried. So in addition to being kind to my golf swing, be kind to the analysis here. I've spent a good amount of time with each app, so I have a good understanding of how they work, but there's a good chance that I may have missed a feature functionality I thought was there, or I thought wasn't there, and actually isn't. So with that, I'm going to start by talking about the LiveView camera. The LiveView camera, it's the 2nd generation of it. It records in 60 frames per second. It's actually a standalone camera with a tripod adapter, so you can sit it on top of a monopod or a tripod or any other thing with a little adapter hole in there, a little adapter screw. It does not have an SD card in it. So kind of one of the interesting things that I found out about it was that if you're using it, you really need to have either an iPhone or an iPad. I think it's got an Android version too, that you typically sit down next to you. The benefit of this, and I'll show this to you here in a second. So if you look at the setup right now with the LiveView camera, you can see I've got the LiveView camera sitting behind me. And I also, if you look kind of right down where my foot is, there's an iPad. So the iPad's connected to the camera. It sees what the camera sees. Now the benefit of this is that I can kind of leave the iPad where it is, and then I can move the camera. So what this allows me to do, again, is to very easily pick up the camera without touching my iPad, move it off to a side view, so instead of a down-the-line shot, I can get a different view. And again, instead of having a mirror, I can look at the iPad and see what the camera sees, as well as record what it sees. Now, one of the things that I was looking at when I was comparing these cameras and software packages was how well it does at breaking down the swing and actually recording an individual swing that you could easily share, as opposed to just setting it down and recording, 20, 30 minutes of practice. So I'm going to switch from the camera in the back to actually the view from the iPad, so you can actually see what I was seeing when I was looking at it. Now, this is me just playing around with the mirror capability. I can kind of look, I can see what I'm seeing and how my backswing looks. And then what you do is you go over and you can press the record button. Now, the one thing I learned kind of incorrectly was if you press the record button, it just starts recording straight through. The red lines go, it just keeps recording, and it doesn't detect or break down your swing. So if you go into the settings of the app, you see a couple things. First of all, there's a ball strike detect function, as well as an autoplay function. So also you can set it to auto replay at different speeds, and you can also set it to auto replay multiple times. This is where the app got really slick, because now when I pressed the microphone in the lower left-hand corner instead of the record button in the lower right-hand corner, it actually detected my swing and recorded specifically my swing. And then not only that, it replayed it back. So if you watch me, and again, this is from the iPad's view, you can see I'm standing, this is live. I go up, I put a ball down. The green light is showing that there's it's waiting for me. I line up. I get ready. I do my swing. It detects the swing, stops, and then replays my swing. And I think I got it set to replay at half swing, half speed one time. So that's a really nice way for you to see your swing right after you do it. And again, this is face on, but you could do it from the back as well. So move the camera back. The other thing that it allows you to do, and I am not a golf pro, so I don't know all the details on how to best use this yet, but you can draw a line. So you can see I drew a line there in the app, part of my swing. So now, again, the camera's behind me. I can kind of see, and the line's probably not exactly where it needs to be. Try to put the ball down where it best can be. But again, with the lines there, you could draw a box around your head. You can draw a line to make sure that you're not swaying too much. And again, you can see all this as you're swinging, which is pretty nice. Now, I did like this ability to draw lines. It's just a little awkward doing it by yourself because you kind of move away from the camera to draw the lines. You kind of had to guesstimate where the club was. As you see, I'm going to guesstimate where my club is. And then walk back and take a shot with it. I think this might work better if you had an instructor with you. There's also some templates that you can save. I assume that's to kind of save where the lines are, then you line up again, just trying to make sure that you have the optimal angle for backswing. So again, not a golf instructor, just starting to experiment with what I see and what I saw when I was looking at the iPad. So let's take this app home now. So now we've gone to the range. We want to look and want to analyze the results a little bit more. So pulling up the app itself, and I did have some problems with loss of signal, more problems when I was at home than when I was at the range, but once it did work, it was fine. And you can see it does a nice job of breaking down each swing as a separate video file that you can pull up. You can play, obviously, you can go slow, you can play it fast. It's also nice because now it saved the lines that you'd drawn before, but you can draw additional lines, you can do additional analysis on it. But again, it's that fine line. The benefit of this thing is that you can analyze your swing while you're at the range and try to fix things, as opposed to, I find the problem is if you're making videos of yourself and then you go home and you analyze it, you're not able to immediately try to fix the problems that you had. So the last thing you're typically going to want to do is to export the video out, either to look at it yourself later or to share it with a golf pro. And the LiveView system does a pretty good job of doing that. My only complaint would be I think you can only export one swing at a time. So if you want to export 5 or 6 swings, you have to export them one at a time. The other thing that I found with the LiveView, and you'll see it more when you see the resulting swings from the Swingshot and the iPad, is that the resulting quality isn't as good. Now, this may not be important because to a certain degree this isn't going on television. We're just looking at these things to analyze them, but the overall quality of the video just isn't as good as the other options. Okay. So the next one I'm going to talk about is the Swingshot, and I don't have a Swingshot to show you because I returned it. And I'm going to explain what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, and why I ended up returning it. Overall, on a pro side, what it is, it's a separate camera that sits on a pole that has a spike on the back of it. You can jam in the ground, so you don't need a tripod. The camera screws into the pole, and it's a standalone. What I liked about the pole was it's the same diameter as a rake. So if you're in a cart with a rake hole, normally the rake sits in, you can stick the camera in there. You can stick it in your golf bag in an umbrella holder. So it's actually a really nice thing. You can quickly pull it out. You can jam it in. You don't need the iPad to record. There's a button on top of the camera that you press. You press it, it starts recording. You press it again, it stops recording. So it's actually a really nice standalone camera. Now it has a Wi-Fi connection just like the LiveView, so you can sit there and you can record. You can see what the camera sees, and you can set it up just like I set up that LiveView. And I did do that where you set the iPad in front of me, put the Swingshot behind me, and I could see myself recording. So what do I like? The quality is better than LiveView. It's 240 frames a second, 120 frames a second, 60 frames a second. I'll show you a clip of me that resulted from it. It's definitely a higher quality result. I liked that it's you don't need the iPad. I like the fact that you can easily move it around. I like the spike on the bottom of it. And I was using a monopod with the GoPro and LiveView, but I really liked the spike. In fact, I'm trying to find a way to use that going forward. Here's what I didn't like. And I like the modes. The modes are nice. So you can record straight through. As a trainer mode, will record 10, 20, 30 seconds, and then stop and give you a break and record again. All really, really nice quality. What I didn't like, first of all, while there is the button on top and the button for the Wi-Fi is on the side, you screw the camera into the pole. There are buttons on the bottom of the camera for changing modes, for turning the camera off or on, as well as to charge the camera, as well as to take the battery out, as well as to take the memory chip out, which makes no sense to me. I talked about this with the people at Swingshot, and their argument was that it makes it less. That way, people aren't messing around with the thing when they're playing. But you're already messing around with the thing. You're taking the thing out. You should be able to turn the thing off or on. You should be able to change the modes without having to unscrew it back into the camera every time. The charging of it, I thought, was strange too. You have to take the battery out of the camera to charge it. There's a plug that lets you access the videos, but you can't charge it directly. And I asked them about that too, and they said that's because it can't charge fast enough. So you take it out. I found opening up the camera to be a little awkward. I was worried I was going to break the camera compartment door when I was taking it out. I found it awkward. I had to unscrew it, open up the thing, take the battery out, put in the thing, charge it, undo that whole thing. That was it. That whole thing I found annoying. It wasn't user friendly. They should be more like the GoPro with all the buttons on the outside. I'd leave it on the pole the whole time. I'd never take it off the pole. There is a screen on top of it, and it seems like you can actually see what the camera sees, which is nice. So when you're looking over it, you can kind of frame your shot before you walk over and film yourself. But there's no way to replay it. So if you, again, as a training tool, if you don't have your iPad, if your iPad or your iPhone, it works very well. But if you just have the camera, you can't jam the camera in there and take a shot and then look at it. Another thing about the analysis of it, there's something on the website that shows you being able to draw lines and do the same stuff I showed you on the LiveView camera. I can't find it, at least in the iOS app, and I sent a message to them, and they said, "You're right, it's not there. It should be there. It's not." And they're gonna talk to the website people. They're gonna take it down. I looked at it today. That was 2 weeks ago. It's still there. So again, I don't think it's a big deal. You can take the videos, you can export it out, you can pull it into any of these other analysis programs, but I think there's a little bit of misleading information on the website. It's not good for that tool. So net on this thing, while I really liked this camera and I wanted to justify it, I couldn't. For $400, which is the top end of one of these portable cameras, I just think that there were better options out there. So while I liked the Swingshot, I had a GoPro, and the GoPro seemed to have a lot that the Swingshot already offered. It had a touch screen, they're outside, I could stick it up on a tripod or a monopod, which is what I did here, and I kind of assumed that the quality would be good. There's also an iPad app, so again, I kind of set it up the same way. I put the GoPro on a tripod, I set the camera up, and started recording my swing. Like the Swingshot in the LiveView, you could pick up the camera and you could move it. In this case, I moved it closer just to get a closer shot of myself. I can move it to the side, which is actually really, really nice. Now, I'm going to switch over and show you the iPad view of this thing. So here's the view, again, from the iPad recording screen. And the one thing that I noticed, and I don't know why this was, maybe it was the setting that I had, but there was a noticeable delay or lag between, that's what I was kind of showing here, is I moved my hand and, half a second went by, and then I saw the club move on the screen. So as a mirror like the LiveView or even the Swingshot worked, this was not as good of an option. Obviously, the other thing that the GoPro is not going to do is any type of swing detection, so it's just going to keep recording on and on. But so I won't spend a lot of time on this except to say this is a decent solution. I mean, I have a GoPro 7 already. It's a high quality camera. It's going to shoot in 240 frames a second, and it's going to do all kinds of wonderful things. I can set it up to take multiple do pictures or video. So as an alternative option between, and I think this is where my head was, between the LiveView, the Swingshot, and the GoPro, I was going to lean toward just using my GoPro. In the end, what really drove me to like the LiveView was the shot detection and the auto replay. Those are two things that the GoPro or the Swingshot couldn't do. And I could still use the GoPro like the Swingshot if I wanted to just bring it out in the course and record as I was playing. So just to show you, this is the resulting video, and I think it's a little dark because it actually was starting to rain on me when I was doing this thing and I wanted to get through all these video shots. But bluntly, the quality of the GoPro is excellent, better than LiveView and on par with the Swingshot. So now that I had these videos from these three cameras, I was looking at a way to do additional analysis on them, and I had played around with the V1 app in the past, as well as the Hudl app, more as a storage tool. But I also found this one called Swing Profile. And what was great about all three of them is they all had their own recording app. Now, what's different about all these, obviously, is they're not cameras. You're using the camera of the iPhone or the iPad, and you've just got to set this thing up behind you or in front of you or to your side and let it record. I'll talk about what I like and didn't like about the three of them, but I'm going to start with one I like the most, and that's the Swing Profile app. What I really like about the Swing Profile is its auto detection of the swing. So if you look at this thing, whether it's on the side or behind you, you stand within this box, and it changes color, changes green to let you know that you can swing. And then once you swing, it auto detects the swing, not based upon the sound, but actually the movement of the club. And not only does it record the swing automatically, but it breaks down your swing into address, upswing, the top, the downswing, the impact, and your finish position. And what makes that really nice, as I'll show you here in a minute, is when you start doing analysis, you start comparing your swing as what not only to yourself, but you can actually compare your swing from the side and the front, all within the analysis tool. This is what makes this tool better than I think any. It's my favorite tool right now of the ones. Even if I'm pulling in videos from another video tool, the way this thing does analysis is fantastic. The only thing that I wish it did compared to the LiveView is do a auto replay. It'd be nice that after you swung, you could program it so it would automatically replay the swing. I'm kind of surprised it doesn't have it. It might be something that I'm missing. I have to go back into the features, but that would be the only thing that I wish this thing could do. I also noticed when I was watching this video that I think I had the frames per second set at 60 frames per second. I know you can set it to a higher amount, which will result in a better quality video. So now that I've recorded some swings, I'm going to go back into the app, and you'll see that Swing Profile breaks down each of the swings in a separate swing video that I can pull up and individually analyze. And you can see it's broken down the address, upswing, and all the various sections of them. I can scroll through it by dragging the time marker on the bottom. I can push any of the thumbnails on the left. It'll automatically jump to that point in the swing. And again, please ignore my swing. It's looking pretty ugly there. That's really great, and you can play it in various speeds. You can play it backwards and forwards. The other thing that's really slick here is I can not only load in another video myself, but I can load in, they have 5 or 6 different pros that you can pull in, and you can buy more, I guess, but here's one of the pros. And then because it's broken down my swing, it follows automatically. This is just done automatically. So you can see all the bad things that I'm doing and all the good things that this pro is doing in terms of hitting the ball. I can draw a little marker, and then now I'm playing around with some of the tools that are built into it, so I can draw a little square around my head to see if my head's moving too much. I can follow the lines. The other thing that was really slick is that I can grab another video of myself, in this case from a different angle, compare them, and now I can see, now these are 2 different swings obviously, but I can still see my swing from 2 different angles automatically. This ain't bad for a free piece of software to let me see again this automatically. It's really very well done. And not only that, I can go back in. I can actually pull in a 3rd or even a 4th swing. I think even 5 swings I tried. and compare them. Now, it won't play them all together, but I can look at them in the various thumbnails. I think I did 3 here, and then a little while later I did 4, just to kind of see how my swing is. And again, I compare myself to a pro, or I compare myself to my to previous swings, or see how my swing has changed over time. So final thing, just to show you how you can share, again, some of the videos with others. It's very, very easy to select a video or a comparison video and send it out. Not only that, but you can also send out the pictures. Very, very easy. I'll show you the Hudl app as well as the V1 app, although bluntly I think the Swing Profile app is better than either of them. So within the Hudl app, just like the Swing Profile app, I can set the iPad next to me, and it has its own little app to record the swing. Now, the one thing that it does not do, and the V1 app does not do it either, is any type of swing detection. So you basically press record and it records. Now, this is strange because if you want to break it down into separate swings, and the user interface is actually very nice. I really like the way the Hudl app in particular allows you to store separate swings, and then, similar to the Swing Profile app, compare your swing to professionals and other people and share your swing. But if you're using the Hudl app to break down your swing, you've got to basically clip out each swing from the session of recorded swings. Now, what I was able to do that was actually easier was I recorded swings using Swing Profile or maybe the Swingshot, and I imported them directly into the Hudl app, and that worked out very well. It broke them down, allows you to tag them, keeps things separate, and actually, as you see here, I like the play where you can review your swings is actually pretty good. You can kind of drag and drop your finger along the bottom thing to kind of play it at different speeds. You can also do the drawing the lines and the swing lines, just like you can do in the other apps. Again, what I did like about the Hudl app is if you load up one app and then click on the compare button in the upper left-hand corner, you can actually compare it to another one of your swings. So again, you can compare it to a down the line. I just compared 2 swings down the line here, but you can line them up and then hit play, and they'll play together. Now, what it doesn't do, that Swing Profile does, is sync them up based upon the position. You kind of have to set them. So if you swing one fast and one slow, it's not going to play them as well. The other thing that you can do, they have as an additional option, is if you go back to the swing, pull it up, hit compare, and then compare to a pro golfer. This is tilted, but there's a $14.99 option to pull in swings, and that would be pretty nice to do if you were committed to this app. So the last one I'll talk about is this V1 app. The V1 app is okay. It records vertically, not horizontally. I prefer horizontally. It allows you to build this timer into it, so you can set it to count down 5 or 10 seconds and then record for 10 to 20 seconds. And then it does break down the swing separately, which is good. The bad news is that every time that you swing, you've got to walk over and hit save. I don't know why they do that. I also found you can see it seems like it's supposed to detect where you are. Like, I was trying to line my body up to the outline of the other golfer, although the outline of the golfer was a lefty golfer. I'm a righty golfer, and it didn't seem to switch. And then even when I put it, this is behind me, obviously. If it was in front of me, then it still showed the same outlined guy. So I didn't quite understand. I didn't think this was as useful of a tool as any of the other 5 solutions. So one thing I noticed when I was home was I had my GoPro connected to my iPad, and I pulled up the V1 app, and it seemed to give me an option to let me use the GoPro as the camera. So the nice thing about that would be that one of the benefits of the separate camera was that I could leave the iPad and move the camera around. With the Swing Profile, the Hudl app, and the V1 app, you can't do that. It could, obviously, you're recording from the camera on the iPad. You have to move the iPad. Bad news is that when I tried using that at home, it kept crashing. So I think the app is there. It's the functionality is there. It's just not working. Would be a great thing if they could add that to Swing Profiler. So once you have your swing stored on the app, you can pull it up and play the videos. I did have a weird bug when I pulled up my list of swings and I clicked on the video itself. It played a blank black screen for some reason. I did this a couple times, couldn't get it to work. But if I pulled up the swing, clicked on Analyze, and played that video, it would play. So final thoughts on V1 Golf. They have a Golf Plus program for like $40 a year, which gives you some additional content and training. And I think you can actually compare your swing to pros and stuff like that, which isn't bad. And the resulting video that they exported out, this is just a sample to kind of show you. Again, the bad news is that it's not doing any shot detection. It's doing it based upon a 10 or 20 second, whatever you recorded. So not a bad tool, but definitely not my favorite. So final thoughts. I think there are a lot of good options here. If you like the separate camera option, I think the LiveView is a good way to go. The quality of the resulting footage isn't as good as a Swingshot, but it's $100 to $150 less. It does the auto replay. It doesn't have the separate memory card, but it does record to the iPad, and the quality is good enough to do analysis on it. Again, really like the replay, really like the shot detection, and it's a light, easy to carry type of thing. If you really want a high quality separate camera that you can use without the iPad, you can't go too wrong with a GoPro if you have it lying around the house, or spend the $400 and get the Swingshot, and that'll kind of do both what the LiveView does and the GoPro does. From an iPad app perspective, I think the Swing Profile app is hands down fantastic. I think it's better. I mean, I like the Hudl app for storing the videos and analyzing the videos. I think the $15 option to analyze your videos is pretty cool too. But again, the Swing Profile has all that, and the shot detection is really, really good. So even if you use that alongside the Swingshot or the LiveView, you can't go too wrong. So if anything, good luck. Hopefully this helps you as you're trying to decide what tool to buy.